Now, before we get going here today, if you go into the comments for episode 532, which was the day before yesterday's, and you look for, if we get to it here, look for this comment here from Nigel's Modeling Bench, okay? Now, Nigel has included a link here where he made a video to show me how he does his planking. Now, this is really worth seeing. I just clicked on the link there now. Okay, I'm just going to pause this here. All right, he went to a great length to, he went to a lot of trouble just for me, in other words. Well, I don't think it's just for me, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be able to, take advantage of this. And what he did was he used a real slick little cutting board to cut very narrow strips of masking tape. I'm having trouble talking and working at the same time, but let's just go on here. All right, and then what he did was he put the masking tape, as you can see here, over top of existing planking on the deck, on a deck here. Here he's using a deck from the 1/200 scale Titanic. Now, he said he's going to be using the wooden deck later, so it didn't matter if he painted over it. But anyway, he's got the darker color, and then he puts down a whole bunch of these little strips. Then what he'll do is he will paint another color of deck tan, another shade of deck tan, and then he'll remove some of the masking tape, and then he'll paint again, and then remove the rest of them, and you'll end up with well, let's see if I can just get ahead here to it. Just sort of scrub ahead on this. Okay, I think this is where he's starting to show us.
The camera is really, really picking up. I think if I dim the light slightly, that's a little bit better. The camera's picking up on the dark side lights.
Okay, I highly recommend anybody that's interested in modeling to find that comment. Go onto Nigel's site, click on the link, go onto his site. He's got a lot of other interesting videos there too. Anyway, this is really a neat idea. I don't know if I'm going to try it or not. I think it's, I just sort of think that maybe it's a little bit beyond me. But anyway, now let's get into today's episode. Yeah, that was a real pleasant surprise. Thank you, Nigel. And as you can see, we are now all the way around on the other side. I think it's pretty good here. Maybe if we look at it at straight along it, we can see if it looks kind of wavy, if you know what I mean. Mind you, nobody's going to be looking along it like that. You're going to more or less view it from the side. Okay, I think the best thing to do in order to be able to put pressure along this tape is to make sure that I have the edges, all the way down. Because if I don't have the edges down, the paint's going to run under the edge, and then I'm going to have a jagged line, right? I mean, that goes without saying. I think maybe I'll put it up on its side, and then I can put pressure on it. Doesn't matter if the black comes off on my glove. What I was wondering about, though, was which should I paint first? The hull, the hull red, or the side? And I'm thinking that probably if I do the side first, and then like right here with this, then if there's overspray, it's going to cover the black primer, which will actually make it easier for the deck tan not to show the black through, if you know what I mean. My goodness, could have said that differently, couldn't I? Anyway, I think you know what I mean. So I think what I'll do is I'll be doing the gray, then we'll mask off the top part and paint the hull red, because it has to be masked off because we don't want to be getting hull red on the gray that we just painted. My goodness, here we go again, saying a lot of stuff, and could have said it a lot more simply, couldn't I? Probably because I'm kind of deep in thought here. I just want to make sure I do this right. Now I will want to be checking the edges of the tape carefully to make sure that no little cotton fluffies came off off of my glove here and are stuck in maybe a sticky part of the tape. Yeah, I think I'm getting it. I was noticing that there was little tiny pieces of dust there that did not seem to be brushing off, and then I realized what I was doing. I was building up a static charge and turning that whole thing into a magnet. I'm going to have to go over it maybe with a very slightly damp microfiber cloth afterwards. Quite a bit of time has passed. Contrary to what some people might think, I don't sit here at the model table all day long. And what I've done here is I've dampened the cloth and I've wrung as much of the water out of it as I can. I'm just going to go over the edge like this. The idea being to sort of neutralize the static electricity that I built up here earlier. Sort of like when you rub a balloon on your hair. Yeah, that kind of thing. I think that's probably what's happened. Anyway, the reason I've got the photo etch bender out is to remind me to tell you about something. And almost done here. Now, I don't know if that got rid of all of it, but I think it got rid of most of it. And probably any little tiny dust particles that were on the side here. Now, let me reposition the camera a little bit here. And we'll just talk about our taping job here. Okay, the photo etch bender is to remind me to tell you, if you remember, one of the viewers made that for us over a year ago. And I won't give you his name, but it rhymes with Andrew Whitaker. Anyway, I checked the comments earlier, and he said, clear coat over top of your tape after you get it on. And in that way, if you remember, I was talking about worrying about the paint running in on the edge and giving a jagged line when I remove this masking tape. Now the idea is if I was to clear coat, and I imagine almost let it pool on, and then if any of the clear coat runs under the tape, when you take the tape off, you won't see it because the black will show right through it. So yeah, it seems to me that we had actually done a test like that, and didn't we conclude that the clear flat was the best? So I've got the flat and I've got the regular. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do here now. In fact, I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just clear coat right over top of this entire tape all the way along and let it dry, and then we'll do the top half with our gray. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Andy. You know, the funny thing of it is, I'm pretty sure we did some kind of a test like that. Now, I've done so much fooling around doing tests and stuff like that, I can't remember sometimes, did I actually do it or did I just think about doing it? But it seems to me we actually talked about clear coating over top of the tape so that the whatever your color is doesn't run underneath. Yeah. Now I'm kind of having trouble getting going here today. Uh, I know I should be spraying, but I feel more like just talking. Anyway, talk is cheap, right? So anyway, went downstairs to the workshop and I plugged in my air hose. And we're halfway ready to go, but I think I better be putting down this piece of plastic here. It's just a garbage bag. I'm going to open it up, cover up our new green towel here. I didn't get as much sleep last night as I could have. And here's what happened. About 25 after 2, I'm laying there asleep, and in my sleep I hear my smoke detector go beep. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I wake up, of course, and I'm thinking, okay, did I hear it or did I dream I heard it? So about 20 seconds later, beep. Okay, it's really the smoke detector. So you know how it is when you wake up and you have to go to the bathroom, you think if you lay there long enough it's going to go away? Yeah, right. Anyway, I think, okay, I got to get up. So I concluded that it was the smoke detector closest to my bedroom door, and I'm thinking, well, how could this be? Because it seems to me I can remember having changed the battery on it just not that long ago. And I did too, as it turns out. And so I find something to stand on, and I reach up and I get it off the wall and bring it here to the model table. And well, first thing I do is I come to the model table and I get my ear protection. And you're thinking, well, why do you want your ear protection? Well, I don't like the sound of the sharp beep right close to me. And the reason I got my ear protection here at the model table, well, it's because my vacuum cleaner is right behind me and it's got this fantastic howl that I hate. And I use it quite often to vacuum off the cloth here. In fact, I did it just a little while ago here. Anyway, so I get my ear protection on and I'm running around in my underwear with my ear protection on, and please do not visualize that. Anyhow, I get my smoke detector off, take the battery out, and I no sooner get it disconnected and beep, and I'm thinking, my goodness, is there some sort of capacitor in this thing that, holds a charge? And then I realize it's not this smoke detector, it's the one that's over top of the basement stairs on the ceiling, just right at the top of the stairs. So, this one, I know I can't reach this one unless I use my stepladder, and I'm thinking now I'm going to have to put my shoes on because the rungs on the ladder are going to hurt the bottom of my bare feet, and I'm starting to get a little bit cranky. And as I'm standing there looking at this thing, it goes beep again, and I'm realizing that, wait a minute, it's not this one, it's something else, and it's coming sort of from the area where my computer is, where I do my editing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, well, how could that be? Is it like the battery backup, or there's so much stuff in there that can beep? But it was a smoke detector type beep. So I hone in on this as best I can with my ear protection on. And I find that it is my CO2 alerts thing. And it's down on the floor, very, very close to where the computer room is. So I look on the side of it, and it's got a little tiny display, and it says ERR period. So I conclude that means error. So I bring it to the model table here, and I've actually still got it, what's left of it. Anyway, so I take the battery out, and it's got some sort of a little rechargeable battery. And so anyway, I take the battery out, and then of course naturally no more beeping. Oh, and I saved the adapter. I thought, maybe someday I can use a 9-volt power supply. 20 years ago, I'd have taken it apart and I'd have probably saved the little buzzer that's inside it too. But I mean, there's only so much I save anymore. This kind of stuff that I know I'm never going to use anyway. Yeah, so in other words, I didn't get as much sleep as I could have, because it probably wasn't until about 4:30 in the morning that I got back to sleep again. And by the time I woke up, it was about 5 to 7, I think. And I look at my clock and I'm thinking, my goodness, the days have gone. Lots of good modeling opportunities missed. Oh. Let's see if I can get at this yet. Now I'm recognizing this piece of plastic as the same one that we used when we made the model ship case, and I wanted to protect the carpet. So I just want to get rid of any dust that might be on it here. You know, after I went to all the work of cleaning off our model. And then if there's, I just brought this piece of plastic back up from the workshop again. And undoubtedly it's kind of dusty. Yeah, that should work. Now you will remember me having often said, always do a dry run. Well, I have not done a dry run, but I think we can probably manage here if I can just get this through past the camera tripod. Alright, now I want to have everything in front of the air intake here as best I can, which is something like that. Now don't go too far, you're going to push it right off the end of the model table. Alright, now my plan is I want to be able to hold the airbrush sort of at a perpendicular angle to the tape here so that it, you know, gets both sides at the same time. I'm going to have to concentrate on what I'm doing, so I'm probably going to be getting my hands in your way. And I've shaken this up, and we've got our flat clear here. The airbrush is set to about 22 pounds. And this is probably still thinned out from the last time we used it. And what I'm going by is the fact that it is so full. Normally when you get these jars, they're not that full. So, anyway. Now I know I'm going to have to pour some back anyway, so may as well have too much than too little because I don't want to have to be adding later. Now all I'm going to want to do is just go down the masking tape. It shouldn't take very much, but like I say, no, where's my paper towel? I don't know, that looks a little bit thick, so it'll give me might give me a bit of a hard time here. Let's give it a bit of a test here. You know what? I forgot to get my fan going. I have often received comments saying how people appreciate seeing things in real time. Now, if you're one of those people who likes to see it in real time, well, here you go. I'm not speeding it up, and I'm not cutting anything out. don't know if I put it on heavy enough in every place or not. Some places might be too heavy, but we'll let that dry, turn it over, and I'm going to do the other side the same way. This is probably only the second or maybe third time that I've airbrushed with clear. And one thing that I have noticed is that when it comes to cleaning up the airbrush, it's more difficult in that you can't see the clear on the airbrush, like the parts that need cleaning and the places where it doesn't. And so in other words, what you got to do is you got to clean everything that you remember being a problem area before. Yeah, just thought I'd throw that in. I think that if I'm smart, I'm going to wait for this to dry properly before I try to paint the gray. And yeah, I might have time to do it yet this afternoon, but you know what? I'd be rushing it, and then I wouldn't be enjoying it, and it's got to be about fun, right? Now, I want to thank Andy for reminding me about this, because I think I probably would have forgotten. In fact, I'm sure I would have forgotten, because I was all ready to start painting the gray. And I'd like to thank Nigel for those tips about, the planking. That was pretty smart. Thanks. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.